Babakaya, and today we're bringing you highlights from the Business Today Crypto Conclave, powered by CoinTCX. The conclave brought together headline speakers, government officials, and tech entrepreneurs from the blockchain world. The Business Today Crypto Conclave has taken up issues that have been making headlines over the last few weeks. From crypto regulation to taxation of crypto assets to the new craze of NFTs. We dive in deep in some of these issues. First up, Electronics and IT Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar talks about the status of crypto regulation. Listen in to what the minister had to say about the governance of disruptive technology and learnings from the blockchain world at the Business Today Crypto Conclave.
You have done already interesting work on allowing blockchain and doing interesting work on the blockchain. CBDC has been announced in the budget as well. Now, tell us a little more about how blockchain, the kind of use cases which you're looking at in terms of facilitating them from the government side.
So in the government, our view on this, and as I'm sure is the view for most people who are participants in the technology ecosystem, is that blockchain and the distributed ledger architecture represents a way for the internet's next phase, in a way, if you want to call it that. They call it Web 3.0. We are living in Web 2.0. And so in a sense, that transformation of the internet, that jump to Web 3.0 is something that India's entrepreneurs and India's startup ecosystem should be leading. That is clearly our objective. But of course, Web 3.0 and the whole new world of the internet around the blockchain is a very different cup of tea. From a point of view of regulating, from a point of view of all of these issues of user harm that I just talked about earlier. So I don't think this is going to be a jump that is going to be sans any safety nets. So at the ministry, at the government, it is our job and our mission to make sure that that leap, that transformation that we make is driven by our entrepreneurs, driven by our startup and innovation ecosystem, but the safety net for the consumers of the internet, and there are going to be 1 billion consumers in India very soon, consuming the internet and consuming services and products of the internet, that there is a clear safe net of safety so that the internet in India as a consumer experiences it is always open, safe and trusted and accountable. So these broad principal issues are what is guiding the approach that we have to rule making, law making and policy making.
And that will extend obviously to blockchain as well.
Absolutely.
And the,
and the entire Web
3.0.
3.0, yes.
Yeah. Now, you spoke about innovation, startups. Now, that brings us to the point, Mr. Minister, of Young India. Now, this government has been very, very vocal about Gen Z, Young India, the aspirational India. And that's actually happening in many of the initiatives which you and your government have taken. How does one then justify that, we are debating, and through the course of the today's discussions, some of these panels actually came up with this whole thing about young India being a bit disillusioned with the kind of time and the delays which are being taken and the confusion around Web 3.0 and regulation. And many of them actually looking at moving abroad. And that's a kind of a brain drain which is constantly now being talked about in connection with Web 3.0. How do you look at that?
First of all, I don't think anybody should move abroad. I mean, I think this is the best place to be at. This is the fastest growing startup and innovation ecosystem in the world. Our country has received more FDI and investments into the startup ecosystem than any other nation in the world. We have an energy today and a confidence about the future unlike anything that I have seen. And I have spent a few decades, I'm an old man now, but I've spent a few decades in technology and I've never seen anything like this in India. So this is not something that is to be scoffed at. It is a huge inflection point in the growth of India's story and the growth of the Indian entrepreneur. And the Indian entrepreneur and the Indian startup today is a world respected entity. So if somebody wants to leave and go somewhere else, I will request him or her not to do that, because that wouldn't be a smart thing to do. In terms of the impatience and the sense that maybe our approach to the blockchain and the crypto aspect of policy making is slow, I don't think so. I would rather characterize this as being measured, deeply involved with a lot of public consultations and making the right moves with the right amount of knowledge and consultation and engagement with the principal stakeholders of the industry and of the ecosystem. And I'll give you an example. I mean, there is a personal data protection bill, as you know. And the reason that we are being very, very careful about going out there and legislating that bill is that we want to be 100,000% sure that that bill or any other legislation does not impact the momentum of our startup and innovation ecosystem by even a little bit. So I don't think there is any slowness. I've never been accused of being slow or inactive. I'm just joking. But I think you should take this as more of being very measured, very involved in ensuring anything that we do is future-proof. On the issue of crypto, while I know there is a lot of frustration, and I get a lot of that when I go through airports and have 20 plus something youngsters come and tell me that I'm destroying their future or whatever it is. But here's the thing. I mean, the whole world is a bit puzzled about how to deal with crypto. It's not something that is unique about India. The world's regulators, including the financial regulators, are deeply concerned about what the effect of crypto will be on the overall macroeconomy, on the power of the central bank to issue currencies, this disintermediation of the currency system as we know it since post-World War II is not a small, trifling thing. It's a huge structural departure from how the world has looked at currency and issuances of currency. So I think a little bit of patience is probably warranted in terms of policy making in this area. If somebody was asking me for an urgent response, it would have been a ban. As you know, that there's enough of a school of opinion that the whole category of crypto should be banned. But I think this government has taken a very positive, progressive step. They believe in the future of the digital economy and the digital payment and the blockchain. And so we will create this as a consequence of a lot of consultation. And the pace for this should be set by the process of that consultation rather than any instant gratification that any wannabe unicorn is interested in or wants.
While the crypto craze has taken Indians by storm, there's still been no clarity from the government about its legality in India. Is India being left behind when it comes to the tech evolution? And the lack of clarity has been making investors nervous. Listen in to Sumit Gupta and Neeraj Khandelwal of CoinDCX on the adoption of crypto technology. At the Business Today Crypto Conclave, Sumit Gupta destroys several myths around blockchain technology. Here's an excerpt.
Crypto, is it an asset or a liability? Now, convince this audience. I feel that audience is pretty much convinced in many cases, but I would still like you to convince this audience of the benefits of crypto, the use cases first.
What we have seen from the history is that, like, fundamentally, crypto and blockchain as a technology, right, has a lot of value to add to the nation, any nation which adopts to it. And that is the reason precisely why you'll see all the progressive nations like US, Japan, Singapore, and now Dubai is very aggressive in terms of setting itself as a crypto hub, and that is attracting a lot of capital, a lot of talent, and they have realized that it can add a lot of value to the nation. So that is there, right? Now any technology that we have seen, of course, that comes with a lot of apprehensions, right? And because it is just change in status quo, and any country which has not adopted technology or which has shunned down technology has never yielded positive returns, right? So generally, whenever a technological shift is happening, it's important that we adopt it, we understand it, and then we take the positives of it and implement it in the economy. And whatever downside or negative nuances are there, you just cut it off by regulating it nicely, right? Now in crypto, there are various applications and use cases that are being developed globally, but a lot of that innovation is not happening in the country. right? I'm on an everyday basis, I'm seeing people talking about shifting to Dubai or Singapore or other countries. There's a massive level of brain drain that's happening because India does not have a positive regulatory framework. And a lot of these applications that will be built on top of crypto with the underlying blockchain technology, that is not happening in the country, right? Tomorrow, whatever applications, Web3 applications that will come, they are not being developed in India, and that is one of the risk and something that Indian government should definitely look at and understand it and regulate so that all of these applications and use cases happen in the country itself.
I'd like to add to that. I think what Sumit said makes sense because you see the evolution of information technology itself. Earlier, back in the days, it was, there were exchange operators, telecom exchange operators, and then people used to make a phone call to someone. It used to go via centralized exchange operators. And then it got evolved into today's internet, right? Which is much more decentralized, I would say. Today you can build any application on top of internet. And it's such a powerful economic driver today. From that stage, it has evolved into internet. And now, crypto and blockchain, from a user's perspective, I think are driving towards further decentralization. It's just a continuum, right, which is evolving. To give you one use case, which we often discuss, is the creator economy. People or entrepreneurs who create content and post it on the internet, they always go to some kind of middlemen, right? Be it Netflix, be it YouTube, or any other middlemen, and eventually they reach to their customers, right, via them. A lot of revenue is going to the middlemen, right? And we have seen a lot of times that creators, artists do not benefit all that they can. If middlemen are replaced by technology, right? I'm not saying replaced, but essentially if they're aided further, right, with technology, I think value gets created for creators as well as the consumers, because they will have to pay less and the creators will earn more, right? I think that is one of the very important use case of...
No, but the middleman gets eliminated, right? You can't
not necessarily eliminated. If they can be the ones who build on crypto, right? They adopt crypto. Similarly, when NFTs, for example, which is again kind of a crypto, comes into the picture, the economy benefits. It becomes much more efficient, right? The creators benefit because of higher income, lesser income going to middlemen, right? That I think is a natural evolution, and consumers benefit because they provide they get to pay less at the same time.
The currency part, as I said in the earlier session, also can be kept aside because that's not going to happen in India, as in many other countries. Let's talk about crypto as an asset class. Can tell us about why crypto as an asset class can actually add value and create, positive change.
Sure. So, as you rightly mentioned, crypto as a currency is something that nobody wants and nobody is even asking for, right? I think there's one big confusion where people are saying, okay, crypto, because of the word currency, it's a legal tender, and that is basically what's creating a lot of confusion. When we talk about crypto as an asset class, right, that is when we start seeing a lot of value, right, being created, because one thing I think that I keep hearing is that, okay, blockchain is good, but crypto is not good. And that has to be very clear, both go hand in hand. Blockchain without crypto is pure database. That you can do today also. The beauty in blockchain, because it is decentralized and distributed across millions of nodes, you have various people participating in the network. And why would they participate if there is no incentive mechanism, if there is no consensus mechanism? Crypto builds that layer on top of blockchain technology where you are actually achieving a truly decentralized network where ecosystem is participating in that network and also have stake in that network, also are a critical part of that. Otherwise, I mean, it's just a database where one person having full control and you can just, there is no, extra benefit that it gets without this crypto layer.
Let's take a very quick break. On that note, we'll be right back bringing you highlights from Business Today's first ever crypto conclave powered by CoinTCX.
key contributing factor is, as I told you, this the mantra of the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. सबके साथ लो, सबको विकास करो, सबको विश्वास दो और सबको प्रयास करो. That was the only mantra we use, and that is the key factor which we can won 32 seats out of 60.
This decision will go a long way in providing Manipur stability and a good governance. People of Manipur have been so good in trusting and also giving the support by electing with majority BJP government.
Welcome back. Former IT and Communications Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad talks about what is stopping the Indian government from allowing cryptos as a currency. The BJP MP also listed out the achievements of the Indian government in leveraging information technology for the benefit of the Aam Aadmi. Listen in to an excerpt of that conversation from the Business Today Crypto Conclave.
Why is it that in 2022, a forward-looking government of which you have been part not just once but twice, and a government which had thought of a convergence bill way before anyone else in the world, perhaps one or two other economies had thought of it, has been unable to deliver the potential of blockchain when it comes to dealing with things like Khosla Ka Ghosla?
Friends, we are all for blockchain. As an IT minister of the country, I took initiative to establish the first Center of Excellence for Blockchain in Bangalore in 2020 itself. It's doing quite well. We came with after a stakeholder consultation, we have set up a national whole ecosystem for blockchain with the scaling, with research. Therefore, blockchain is most welcome. And kindly give me just 1 minute to give the larger narrative as to why blockchain is a part of the process of evolution of technology. Technology is empowering. Technology facilitates. Technology in many ways educates. Getting a little nostalgic in the year 2014 when our Prime Minister Narendra Modi was campaigning, Rahul, in the Ramila ground, he coined, if I am elected as the Prime Minister, I'll try to create an India where IT plus IT is equal to IT, which means India's talent plus IT, information technology, is equal to IT India tomorrow. And I never expected that he will give me the responsibility to handle all this for close to 7 years. See where we are. Aadhaar, UPI payment, this whole connectivity through villages, okay? fintech movement in India, startup movement in India, digital India, and the way delivery was assured during pandemic. And mind you, it is also a political boon that those who get direct benefit transfer also become your vote because they see a new changing model in the country. All this has happened because of technology. And blockchain I see as a part of that larger narrative.
Why did the government of India willy-nilly come into a situation? Headlines आई हमने नहीं की, वो bill present हुई थी कि ban कर रहे हैं. That put us on the wrong side of technology history.
देखिए मेरा खाली कहना यह है कि आप किसको बैन की बात कर रहे हैं. Blockchain is going to take off on a big national highway. All the ecosystem is in place.
सर अगर प्राइवेट गाड़ियां सब बंद हो जाएंगी तो केवल सरकारी गाड़ी चलेगी.
किसने कहा?
बिल कह रही थी सर.
यही समस्या आप लोग की है. बिल को पढ़ लेते तो सवाल मुझसे नहीं पूछते.
सर आप लॉ मिनिस्टर रहे.
ना. अब आपने सवाल किया तो जवाब सुनिए.
बिल्कुल.
आप उस समय के आईटी मंत्री और उस समय के कानून मंत्री से बात कर रहे हैं तो थोड़ा विनम्रता से.
और हमने आपसे इंटरव्यू भी किए हैं कई बार. सर
मेरा सिर्फ कहना क्या है, उसमें क्या था, क्रिप्टो पर बैन था. Getting my point? We are examining that in my different capacity.
सर क्रिप्टो में बुरा क्या था?
Just a minute. In the Standing Committee of Finance, एक मिनट मुझे जवाब दीजिए. तो blockchain पर कोई बंदिश नहीं थी. Blockchain had complete encouragement of the government of India, and already after widest consultation, blockchain today is being encouraged everywhere and will be encouraged and should be encouraged. Therefore, since it is in a state of infancy, other state government will follow. Take the case of digital locker. नई चीज आई ना.
बिल्कुल.
आज देखिए करोड़ों डॉक्यूमेंट डिजिटल लॉक पर है.
बिल्कुल.
आप भी अपने मोबाइल फोन से अपना,
बहुत विद्यार्थी अपना केवाईसी उससे कर रहे हैं.
सब करते हैं. तो थोड़ा सा एडॉप्शन के लिए वक्त देना चाहिए. मैं पहली बात कहूंगा. इसलिए आई वुड लाइक ऑल द जेंट्री प्रेजेंट हियर to be very clear about the mission of the government of India, that blockchain technology, blockchain ecosystem, blockchain architecture is going to get fullest encouragement of the government of India, both for use by the government sector and also the private sector.
Chaliye, that's a good statement.
Be very clear about it.
To be taken on record here.
Now I come to the crypto part of it. Blockchain is the technology. Crypto is a part of this technology. Using it. Now the whole world is grappling with crypto per se. Yes, crypto being a disruptive technology, tools, disrupts also. But let me flag some general issues, and I hope in the coming session this should be debated. Currency always has a sovereign imprint. I repeat, currency always has a sovereign imprint. India's rupee, Reserve Bank of India signature, Mahatma Gandhi photo. Pound in England, Queen Elizabeth photographs. Dollar in America, you know what dollar carries. Washington's photograph is there to the best of my knowledge. An authorized signature. That makes it tradable. That makes it reliable, and that makes it trustworthy. Therefore, approval of the sovereign government within whose domain the currency operates is the sine qua non of global trade and economic discourse. Now you are coming with crypto. Crypto is what? Is a digital currency. कहाँ से आया, किसने लाया और कहाँ गई, इसका भी इकोसिस्टम नहीं बना है.
मैं सवाल पूछ सकता हूँ?
हाँ बोलिए.
कहाँ से आया, किसने किया, वो दूर की बात है. सरकार उस पर टैक्स लगा रही है. मतलब सरकार ने नियम नहीं बनाए, कानून नहीं बनाया, पर इनकम टैक्स करे. और अगर मैं थोड़ा सा इसको गलत ना समझा जाए, मतलब स्मगलिंग बुरी है अगर ऐसा माना जाए, बट स्मगलर के इनकम को टैक्स कर लेंगे, बट स्मगलिंग के अगेंस्ट हमने लॉ नहीं बनाया.
आपने बहुत सही कहा.
और आप लॉ मिनिस्टर थे रविशंकर जी. ऑडियंस और हमारे सारे दर्शक ये जान ले कि शायद पहली बिल आपके पास ही आई थी, तब आप गद्दी
नहीं, पहले मैं आपसे एक बात कहता हूं, इस बात को समझिए आप. यू मस्ट रीड द फाइन प्रिंट ऑफ द FM's speech in the parliament. Digital currency we are going to encourage. Reserve Bank of India has already announced that the whole ecosystem of a digital currency. But till we take a final view on the crypto part, जो उसकी इनकम है उस पर हम टैक्स लेंगे। इस बात को समझिए। उन्होंने ये नहीं कहा कि हम क्राइम के कारण कर रहे हैं, बाकी कर रहे हैं। यू मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड इट एंड आई डोंट सी एनीथिंग रॉन्ग इन इट। व्हाई? बिकॉज अभी तो मुझे बता रहे थे कि मेरे पास भी है $1 ट्रिलियन, $1 बिलियन, है ना, बड़ी बड़ी तस्वीर दिखाई जा रही है।
तो बुरा क्या है सर? पैसा आ रहा है, लोगों को नौकरी मिल रही है, इनोवेशन हो रही है।
उसी में समस्या हो कि आपने बीच में रोक दिया। तो मैं तो वही को बता रहा था आपसे। जो मैंने बात शुरू की थी, क्या कही थी कि द गवर्नमेंट symbol of authority is a precondition for a currency. By its very nature of the crypto, it is not today technologically possible to align with the government authority. That is one of the biggest thing. The second thing is important is there is inherent anonymity in crypto. Inherent anonymity in crypto. उसी संदर्भ ने कहा था कहां से पैसा आया, किसने भेजा। Then anonymity in crypto, implications for terrorist funding, for money laundering, etc., etc. What is the architecture for that to contain it? And second, can we ignore the threat of cyber security? Can we ignore the cyber challenges which we face today? Rather than a lighter vein, with the regulations on social media, we have interacted. How much we have to work hard to safeguard the dignity of women. आइए अमेरिका में कंप्लेन करिए, आपको याद होगा। तो हमको उसके लिए रेगुलेशन बनाना पड़ा, अब चीजें निकली हैं। तो मेरा खाली कहना यह है कि हमने ये कभी नहीं कहा कि इसके खिलाफ है। We only want to tread with caution.
That's all the time we have on this edition of the show, but do tune in for further highlights from the conclave on our YouTube channel as well as social media handles. Thanks for watching.
She's the wife of Ukraine's President Zelensky, and she fears for the safety of her husband. In a written exchange from an undisclosed location with a media house, the 44-year-old revealed that she calls her husband every morning, but only after praying for his well-being. Meet Olena Zelenska, the First Lady of Ukraine. She is the wife of the Ukrainian president, and she has been standing like a strong pillar by his side during these shattering moments of the war. Olena was born in the same city where President Zelensky was raised. She and Zelensky were schoolmates, but they were not acquainted then. Zelensky once said that he knew many of her classmates, but not Zelenska herself. They got to know each other much later when Zelenska was studying at the Faculty of Civil Engineering at Kryvyi Rih National University. She reportedly had a boyfriend at the time, and he was busy trying to make a career in comedy. It is said that it was comedy that united them. Olena was a scriptwriter, and Zelensky is one of the founders at Quartal 95. It is a leading provider of entertainment TV content in Ukraine. Later, Zelensky got her on board as the scriptwriter. Zelenska was one of the writers of the show Servant of the People. The relationship between the couple developed gradually. They dated for 8 years before getting married on 6th September 2003. On 15th July 2004, their daughter Alexandra was born. On 21st January 2013, Zelenska gave birth to their son. Zelenska became the First Lady of Ukraine on 20th May 2019 with Volodymyr's elect. In an interview, she said, and I quote, "I am a non-public person. I prefer staying backstage. My husband is always on the forefront, while I feel more comfortable in the shade. I am not the life of the party, and I do not like to tell jokes." Olena has been a part of many social causes. Her first initiative talked about nutrition reform in Ukrainian schools. In December 2019,